Well, today is Tuesday, 16th of January 2024. It started snowing slightly, so I was hoping for some better paying loads, so they call them, but it has not been busy. And just wanted to address a couple of comments where people were, kind of like making fun of me for doing this. But you guys should realize one thing, that I'm driving a 2023 4x4 Compass Trailhawk Elite, okay, with leather seats, leather steering wheel, leather covered steering wheel, premium audio, 8-speed automatic transmission, satellite radio, remote start, all the bells and whistles, and it's a super nice vehicle. I love driving this thing. So like one idiot wrote a comment basically how hard somebody have fallen. Like, what the heck are you talking about? Like, I'm not driving a 1967 Tatra, like 3-cylinder gas engine car. I'm driving a super nice Jeep, even though it's not a Grand Cherokee, but I love it and I enjoy driving. I'm still a driver. Yeah, I'm still a driver at heart, and I can tell you that driving a personal vehicle, a small car like this, it's way more enjoyable than driving a truck. Like, I have no issues with parking, right? I can park anywhere. And the reason I came here, the reason I came here is because there's a liquor store on the left, Saddle Ridge Liquor, and it shows as a hot spot on Uber. And speaking about Uber, I honestly started having doubts about wasting my time on Uber taxi. Oh, before I talk about that, let's just address something. One guy asked if I take into account the price of gas. Well, of course I do. That's why when I deal with Uber, let's say Doordash, my primary app, is not busy, so I start them both, and I only take Uber if I see the pay is like at least $1.50 per kilometer. So let's say if I see the total distance, they show me the total distance, which actually they don't do on Doordash. Doordash only shows you the pickup, and you only see the total distance after you click picked up, like the order picked up. So, but I trust Doordash. I take everything that they throw my way, even though sometimes it's not the best. But Uber shows you exactly where you're picking up and where you're going, so you can assess, and it gives you total kilometers, both empty, driving to the pickup, and then delivery. And I use that, which is pretty good, not just loaded miles or loaded kilometers, so to speak, but I use everything. And I try, let's say if it's 10 kilometers total, I want to see at least $15. And of course, again, it's all Canadian currency, right, because I'm in Canada. But most of the orders are way less than $1 per total kilometer, and that's why I reject 9 out of 10, if not 9.5 out of 10. So but they have so many orders, and surprisingly, I checked the stock, because they're both publicly traded companies. So I checked the stock on Yahoo Finance, and they're pretty much similar in price, like very pricey, like $65. But Uber is profitable, but the like price to earnings is some crazy 1,600 or something. So basically, the profit is very low, but they're basically way overpriced, the shares. But Doordash is not making any money. It's showing loss. Maybe that's why I don't know. Maybe soon this will end, because they do pay better than Uber. And speaking about Uber, what I wanted to say is that I just read a story online about a guy who was driving in US Uber taxi for 11 years. And 2 years ago, he got into some, medical emergency and had to stop working for 2 years. And now he comes back after he beat that cancer. He came back and he's in Phoenix, Arizona. And he says he was really surprised how drastically the situation with Uber revenue changed for the worse. And he was throwing some numbers around, and I have no reason not to believe him. But basically he was saying that before, 2 years ago, they paid more per mile, and it was like 80-20 split, so the driver would get 80%. And so he said that over there, it's a big city, right, Phoenix, Arizona, he could make $400 in half a day. So basically he said he was bringing home $1,200 to $1,600 a week, which is, pretty good income if you ask me. So now he says his weekly revenue dropped. He makes anywhere between $600 and $850. And he says now, in order to make $300, he has to work like a day. He has to work 10-12 hours. And he doesn't want to do that. So now this particular guy says he started looking for, because he has a university education, and he started looking for a job in his primary field, because he says, yeah, Uber, at least in his city of Phoenix, Arizona, he says it's not sustainable. It's just, you can barely, pay your bills because you're killing your vehicle, right? And that's why here, I reject pretty much all of Uber offerings, because they're just ridiculous. Like, let's say $3 for 10 kilometers, $5 for 20 kilometers. Or they wanted to go shopping to Walmart for 46 items, which would take like 2.5 hours, I know from experience. And they want to pay you like $15, And of course, I'm looking at this, as everybody says, at least $20 an hour. And also Uber, what's nice is that they show you not just total kilometers it would take for that particular trip, like to go to pick up and then deliver, but they also show estimated time. And that's another good idea. I look at that. So let's say if they say estimated time 30 minutes and they pay $10, that means that that's pretty much like $20 an hour, right? So then it's more or less okay. But if more often, or actually typical, they would say estimated time 45 minutes to pick up and deliver, and they offer $10, let's say, right? So now we're talking about $15 an hour, and basically it's ridiculous. I don't know how Uber, it just, I don't know. Like I mentioned this before, it's Uber Eats. It's basically for kids, where parents gave them a free car, and parents pay for gas, and so they just want to teach the kids how the economy works. But this is the worst case of basically slavery in 21st century, to drive your own vehicle, for 50 cents a mile. That's what it comes down to. It might as well just go to McDonald's, and that's why, at least with Doordash, mostly I was able to make that $700, last week. And now we are still in winter. Now it's still snowing. So maybe, you usually make good money when there's some bad weather outside, right? Where people don't want to go out. And now the roads are a bit slippery. As you can see, the snow is falling, but very light snow. And so that's my calculation. And so yeah, after I read that story from Phoenix, Arizona, and now I know how cheap Uber is, as far as food deliveries are concerned, I don't see any reason why would they pay better for taxi. So if anybody knows this, how Uber taxi compares to Uber Eats, just leave your comments. But I'm pretty sure it's the same BS. It's the same, like 35 cents a mile, 40, 50 cents a mile. It's crazy. Oh, and also one guy asked me in a comment if I take into account the price of gas, right? And I wanted to say that my car, surprisingly, is not that good on gas, even though in the city. Like outside, it's like 8 liters per 100 kilometers, but in the city, right now I'm sitting at 11.4 liters per 100 kilometers, right? but gas is like $1.40. 87 is like $1.20. You know, I usually try to get like 91, and so that means that if I do 10 kilometers and I only burn 11 liters per 100 kilometers, right? So that's pretty much like $1, okay? And that's why I don't do cheap ones. I just look at the ones where it's at least like $2-3 per kilometer for total kilometers, you know. And I keep pushing that button, you know, reject, 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 cancel, cancel, cancel. But Doordash, I do everything because I noticed that they really start giving you better orders once you know, they see that you're serious and you're taking the work, you know. So you gotta take the bad with the good, right? But I do enjoy one thing about Uber. I do enjoy. That's why I came to this liquor store. That's where I picked up the other day that Crown Royale and took it to a thirsty guy at the hotel near the airport. Like, alcohol is super easy. You don't have to worry about your thermal bag, right? They give you a bag, you just put it on the seat. You know, you don't have to worry about getting the food getting cold because it's liquor, right? And except the delivery takes like a few extra steps with the you have to take a picture, you have to answer yes or no if the guy appears sober, and if he appears drunk, you're supposed by law to refuse the delivery and take the liquor back, and they're supposed to pay you the full fee, except of course now you're traveling twice the amount of kilometers you were supposed to do in the first place. So anyway, that's the situation with this gig economy as it stands as of today. And I'm still doing, so I still have that leaf blower. I don't see a problem with this being corded. I remember once I called actually a guy for pressure washing, and he was telling me, and he says, I have to use your hose. And I'm like, wait, what? And he had the same thing. So he bought a pressure washer, but he did not carry his own tank. So he says, well, mostly I do painting, I do house painting, but on the side, as a side gig, I do pressure washing. He says, like, you know, driveways, patios, and he says, I just hook up my machine to your water supply. And he had no issues. Like, of course, it sounded a bit strange to me at the time. But he says, yeah, I don't have a tank on my pickup truck. I just need to use your water. And evidently people were paying him for this because he was still listed as a business, you know, online. And so yeah, I think it's the same thing with using a leaf blower. I just ask people, hey, you have a plug-in outside? I have to use your electricity, right? And that's it. Maybe I charge him a bit less, a couple of bucks less than what standalone a guy with a standalone leaf blower would charge. So what's the big deal? I don't know. They say the rate in Calgary is anywhere between 25 to 70 bucks a property. So I was right about that liquor store.
Meters, enter the roundabout, then take the second exit onto Taradale Drive Northeast.
After about 10 minutes, I got an order right from there, and some guy ordered a bottle of Canadian Club whiskey and 1 liter bottle of, you know, like 7-Up.
Enter the roundabout and take the second exit onto Taradale Drive Northeast.
And it pays either $7 or $9, but the distance is only 1.2 kilometers. So you see, so that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something where it's multiple dollars per kilometer. So this way, I'm not killing my vehicle, I'm not putting too many miles, and it covers the fuel expense, because I'm only gonna burn 1 kilometer. It's gonna be, I don't know, 10 cents in fuel. So this is how it should be. And actually I did notice that liquor on Uber pays a bit better than food, and that was my thinking when I paid what, 25 bucks to do this online training, because in Alberta by law you're required to have that Pro Serve certificate. And also now I can, like, liquor delivery or
600 meters, turn left onto Rington Way
or I can be a waiter or a bartender, you know, like some special events in the summer, and you need that certificate. And the biggest deal about that one is they teach you how to, basically the main rule is that you have to cut people off from liquor when they appear to be intoxicated, and you do not serve liquor to people that are drunk. And that's the whole idea, just like basically 2 points. And so now I'm gonna go, the app is gonna ask me, it's just gonna lead me step by step. Okay, check if the customer appears intoxicated, yes, no. Okay, no. Okay, take a picture of the driver's license.
Turn left onto Rayton Way Northeast.
And then if they're happy with the driver's license, I don't have to do anything else. I just can give them the liquor. But like that guy from Washington, right? For some reason, after I took the picture, they wanted me to enter manually his name and his date of birth and license expiry date. That was a pain in the butt. So I hope this doesn't happen here. And basically, I also not supposed to bring liquor with me. So first,
Drop off on the left.
first I have to check their credentials, and we're here. So now I'm gonna go and deal with this unruly customer.